Welcome back, where another of our daily episodes from the Lake Superior Railroad Museum here at the St. Louis County Depot comes to you each and every day. And we thank you for sharing these with so many of your friends and neighbors and relatives. And we also want to thank those people that are watching this on Facebook. There's an option on Facebook where you can donate to the museum. And already $485 have been donated to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum, and we thank you for that very much. In an earlier episode, we did tell you about the most powerful Great Northern locomotive in our collection, the famous Hustle Muscle, number 400, 4,000 horsepower. Today we're going to cover another in the collection from the GN family. This one is much smaller, but it's very special and has a unique story all to itself. And we'll tell you about that. But first, if you can help the museum by donating, that would be great. If you can help the museum by becoming a member, that would be fabulous as well. Just go to our website, lsrm/memberships, and there, of course, you can sign up for a membership and support the Lake Superior Railroad Museum, home of the 192. The history of the 192 starts in 1922 in Cleveland. There, Harold Hamilton and a partner of his, Paul Turner, started what would become the Locomotive Engineering Corporation, EMC for short. They got together because Harold was a locomotive engineer and quit his railroad job, but he noticed something on his way out the door, and that was branch lines were getting harder and harder to support running a steam engine and a steam crew. And he thought if we could use this new invention called the diesel engine, internal combustion diesel, made by the Winton Corporation, we could make self-propelled rail cars. And that's what they did. They designed a self-propelled rail car, and in 1922 sold all of two of them. One to the Chicago Great Western Railway and the other to a railroad in our own backyard, the Northern Pacific. Now that all fit really well into plans that at the same time General Motors was having, which led to this, the 192. In the 1940s, General Motors was looking to get into the diesel manufacturing business and make locomotives. They had already acquired Winton and EMC, and in 1941, they combined the two into EMD, the Electromotive Division of General Motors. In 1941, EMD introduced the F unit, and they used those on the main lines, and they were extremely popular. For switching operations, they came up with the NW1. N stood for 900, which was the horsepower in the NW1, and W was for welded frame. The NW1 sold quite well, as a matter of fact, but the NW2 sold a lot better when they made it a 1,000 horsepower motor. And that sold 1,145 before the introduction of the NW3. Now the NW3 had a different use. It was for branch line purposes, kind of the idea that Hamilton came up with originally when he started his company in Cleveland. And the addition of the longer cab on the NW3 made room for a steam generator under the hood. And that steam generator could power the heat in the cars of coaches on the train on the branch line. The NW3 only sold 7 units, all of them to the Great Northern Railway, and only one exists, and you can see it here in Whitefish, Montana. See that long cab in the back? That's where the steam generator was located. The next model up was the NW5, which you see here in the 193 in the collection at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum in Duluth. And it too had what was known as a short hood. And under this short hood is where the steam generator was located. And the steam from that was piped back to the coaches, and that's how they heated them, just like they would have had this been a steam engine instead of just a steam boiler on the newfangled diesel electric locomotives. Come on inside, I'll show you some more. The NW5 was made between 1946 and 1947. It was a little more popular than the NW3. It was longer, had that steam generator just like its predecessor, but because it was longer, they could put on larger fuel and water tanks to give it more range on those branch lines. Only 13 of these were made, 10 were sold to the Great Northern, and this is the only one that still survives from that model year 46-47. So here you have one of the earliest versions of a switch engine still running. This is a survivor. It has a V12 1,000 horsepower motor, which was very popular with the railroads, low maintenance, high power. It also had the ability, as I said, for longer distances, so it could cover longer branch lines. It is a survivor. In 1990, when all the railroads were merged under the Hill family to form the Burlington Northern, she was renumbered the 992 and served trains running out of Breckenridge, Minnesota. She was retired to the Council Bluffs Railway, and there she served until 1996, when it was purchased by the Lake Superior Railroad Museum and brought to Duluth. And in 1999, it was restored to operating order and has given us 21 good years of service on the North Shore Scenic Railroad. Here's what the engineer sees. Plenty of visibility. You'll notice that right off. It was because of the drop hood design over that long hood that made it so. And of course, you've got your train brake, you've got your independent, you've got your throttle, your reverser is down here, and as always, you got to know how to blow the horn. As I said, this engine is a survivor. It's the only one left, and it's the only one obviously running still, of all the NW5s that were built, and there were only 13. So it's quite a rare relic and an artifact in the museum that's also a piece of working history on our North Shore Scenic Railroad. And we hope to be able to tell you very soon about our opening plans for the railroad and the museum, and then you can make plans to come and visit us. In the meantime, please remember, wash your hands a lot, often and hard. Don't touch your face, cover your coughs, keep your social distance. If you're sick, only one place for you, and that's at home. And there's only one place for you tomorrow, right here for another of our dropped episodes. And in the meantime, let's take care of each other.